39. My boyfriend's obsession with wrestling is ruining our relationship. For as long as I can remember, my boyfriend has been big into wrestling. He drags me to an indie show on weekends, despite me not being a fan. He spends a lot of money on merchandise, and 3 days a week he changes the channel to watch it. Even if I'm watching a movie or something, he'll snap it off. I try to be supportive, but I genuinely don't get the appeal of watching sweaty half-naked guys pretending to fight. Last night, he decided to do something that made me oversleep for work the next day and got me in danger of being fired. I had to work the afternoon night shift over the weekend and the day before. He dragged me to a wrestling show. He originally planned for it to be a date night for us, but he changed that when he found out someone he really liked was performing in our town. I swear I even heard him crying about it when he read the news. I got all dressed up because I thought we were going to a fancy restaurant like planned, but he instead took us to the show. After the show, I was bored out of my mind and wanted to go home. I had night shift the next day, but he didn't want us to leave. Instead, we went to the back door of the building and just waited for the wrestlers to leave the place. He wanted to meet the wrestler he worships and get his autograph. We took the same car and I didn't want him to be stranded. 6 hours. 6 hours we had to wait. I tried calling a cab for me or something, but he wouldn't let me. He begged me to just wait. I checked my phone. It was after 3 a.m. that we were waiting by the door. Waiting in the middle of the night. Almost pitch black outside. In a rough part of town. He didn't give up. He insisted. At almost 4 in the morning, the guy he likes came out. My BF tried to talk to him, but the wrestler just said, "Sorry, I'm running late," and he didn't get an autograph. We went home and I slept in by mistake. I was late for work and now I'm in danger of being fired. Since I was still somewhat groggy on the job. All of this just over wrestling. What do you mean he wouldn't let you? Why didn't you just take a cab home and ignore whatever he said at that point? Stop. While your boyfriend is being super selfish and disrespectful, and I would seriously reconsider this relationship because I doubt this is an isolated incident. I would also recommend that you learn to say no. I see multiple points in this story where you could have avoided this outcome. He takes you to the show instead of a fancy restaurant. Say, "No, I'm not going to the show," and tell him that he can either come with you to a restaurant like you originally planned, or he can go to the show and you are going home. After the show he wants to wait for the wrestlers. Say, "No, I am tired and have to be up early. I am going home and you can either come with me or stay and get an Uber when you're done." He begs you to wait when you want to get a cab. Say no. I don't understand why you stood around for 6 goddamn hours until 4 in the ever-loving morning, instead of simply saying no and going home. That is completely ridiculous. This isn't an issue of wrestling. This is an issue of your boyfriend having no respect for your time and you having not enough respect for yourself to set boundaries and say no. I think this should be a wake-up call that this dynamic is not healthy. Edit. I just took a stroll through your post history. Why on earth are you still with this guy? He yells at you, blames you for his own mistakes, withholds affection from you but begs for kisses from a female wrestler. I know you've been together a long time, but this relationship sounds miserable and it doesn't sound like this man has any respect for you. Stand up for yourself. That's it. You should set some strong boundaries. Make sure he knows you aren't okay with these actions. It seems he isn't compromising in the relationship at all. Next time something like the 6-hour incident happens, stand your ground. Tell him this isn't okay and don't give in to him pleading for you to stay. You're worth more than this. Why don't you say you don't want to go to the shows? And then don't go to the shows. Just don't go to the shows. From reading your replies here, part of the issue is you. Learn to say no and set boundaries. Nobody is gonna care that you are there when robbing you guys. Nor did he care about you when he made you stand there with him. You keep making excuses for him in these replies, then wonder why he keeps doing this dumb stuff. If he surprises you with some goofy shit, leave. You are your own person. Make your own decisions. Stand up for yourself and shut this shit down. He didn't force you to stand there for 6 hours. Or force you to go at all. Take some control over yourself. Here's the thing. Your comments scream that you are used to making excuses for his immature behavior. You have no concept of boundaries or how to tell him no. You don't stand up for yourself to him in regard to his behavior. Changing the channel. Dragging you to shows you don't want to go to. Lying about where you're going and then surprise. It's another show. All ridiculous. Childish things. You're 39 years old. Do you want to remain with a child for a partner for the foreseeable future? Or do you have the self-respect to stand up and say something when he's acting a fool? You decide how you want to go forward. But I left my ex for very similar bullshit. Your boyfriend sucks. But you have like no spine. Leave him. This relationship is not going to work. You're not his partner. You're his puppy. You know you don't have to do everything he says. Grow a spine. Sorry, but this is all on you. We're going to a wrestling match instead of a date. Quote. No. We aren't. You agreed to a date. If you're going to prioritize wrestling 100% of the time, your relationship is with that and not with me. Feel free to go and you can think about your priorities then too. Changes channel. That's rude. I was watching that. We need to get a second TV. Or you can watch on your computer or phone. We have to stay so I can get Meathead Marvin's autograph. Quote. I work early. I'm getting an Uber. But really, why are you putting up with any of this? Wrestling isn't ruining your relationship. Your BF's selfish behavior is. This guy sounds like he needs to be sat down and spoken to. Because his boundaries need setting. I'm a big pro wrestling fan. But my partner isn't. And that's okay. It would be nice to have it to share. But there is enough we can share and enjoy that it's nice to have our own things as well. It sounds to me like your BF is desperate for you to share this with him. And as sweet as that might be in his head, it's not working in practice. He needs to understand that relationships are about give and take. And at the moment he's not respecting that. Talk to him about it. Tell him that things need to change and see what happens. If they do change, then great. He's listened to you and grown. And maybe things will improve. However, if they don't, then maybe you've reached the end of your journey together. Be an adult. You do not need to wait with him. Be with him or go with him to these things. You do not need to be codependent. If you don't want to wait, go home. He cannot stop you. If he tries, call the police. Literally stop blaming him because of your choices. He doesn't own you. Take responsibility for what you decided to do. You can see these red flags from the moon. This really falls upon you. You are just letting yourself get dragged into wrestling. He is not a mind reader. Say no. Some people are not lucky enough to be so completely passionate about something. I would definitely recommend being supportive of his passion. Because that's who he is. But that doesn't mean you have to bend over backwards for every single event or show. He needs to understand that he needs to be as passionate if not more passionate about you than wrestling. He sucks, you enable him. Grow a spine and tell your teenager no. OMG, I remember you. You're that psycho lady that wouldn't put your kid in line for sexually harassing, begging a woman for sex as she was a registered sex offender. Honey, you're getting everything you deserve. As someone who has dated, worked within the indie wrestling scene, it doesn't get better. The fans are obsessive. The best thing you can do is separate yourself from that world. Hard boundaries. He needs to respect you don't want to go to the shows or watch it.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.